Hey everyone, so now that we're starting our essay that's talking about the transformation of Eliza from the beginning of Pygmalion to the end of Pygmalion, I thought I would make a video that talks about the 5 most important parts, the most important things in Pygmalion. So first and foremost, it's really important to understand Eliza's transformation, right? So the first thing and the most important thing is recognizing that at the beginning of the play, Eliza was just a poor flower girl, right? She sold flowers on the street. And then at the end of the play, she was considered to be a lady, right? She wore fancy clothing. She was considered to be eligible to get married, right? So that's the big transformation. She went from being poor to being wealthy and went from being a girl to being considered a lady, right? So that's the first one, Eliza's transformation. The second really important thing is the interactions that Eliza has with Higgins, right? So Higgins is our other main character. And as we see from the very beginning of the play, Higgins and Eliza really butt heads a lot, right? So at the beginning of the play, Higgins doesn't want to help Eliza. In the middle of the play, he's really excited about helping Eliza. And then at the end of the play, he resents helping Eliza, right? And so we see this transformation of the relationship between Higgins and Eliza. So first most important thing is Eliza's transformation. Second most important thing is the relationship between Eliza and Higgins. Now, the third most important thing is the idea of the bet. Now remember, this bet is something that Higgins and Pickering make, right? The bet is between Higgins and Pickering. The bet is, can Higgins train Eliza to be a lady so well that he can convince other fancy, rich people that Eliza is a duchess? Remember, duchess is like royalty. That's the important takeaway there, right? So the first thing is Eliza's transformation. The second most important thing is the relationship between Eliza and Higgins. The third most important thing is understanding the bet. Now, the last 2 things are less important, but still very important. The fourth thing, right? So we've gone 1, 2, 3. Our fourth thing is the idea of the setting of the play, right? The idea that this play takes place in Victorian England, right? So this happens back in time, right? Where women specifically were held to certain expectations, and poor people and rich people had lived very different lives, right? And they didn't really mix. You didn't have poor people and rich people really interacting the way that Eliza and Higgins do. So this is important because of the fact that Eliza is poor and Higgins is rich. So you see that transformation show up, and you see this idea of Victorian England be so important through not only the transformation of Eliza, which was our first most important thing, but also our transformation of Doolittle, Eliza's dad, okay? So, to review, our first most important thing, Eliza's transformation. Second most important thing, the relationship between Higgins and Eliza. The third most important thing was the bet. I almost forget. Was the bet, right? The fourth most important thing was the setting. Now, the fifth and final most important thing is the way that we think about transformation, right? Or identity, right? This is a bigger bucket thing. It's less about the plot and more about the ideas behind the plot. So the fifth thing is, when you transform your identity, do you change everything about yourself, right? It's this idea between external identity and internal identity, right? And does changing one automatically mean changing the other one? So, final review. First, the transformation of Eliza. Second, the relationship between Eliza and Higgins. Third, the bet. Fourth, the setting. And finally, fifth, the idea of how identities transform, and does changing your identity on the outside inherently or automatically mean changing your identity on the inside. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you use it, and I hope that it allows you to feel a little bit more confident when going into this essay. All right, I love you all. Talk soon. Bye.